Good morning, and welcome to the Hawaii Health Data Warehouse Coffee Break Monthly webinar series. My name is Tanya Lowry St. John with the Hawaii Health Data Warehouse, or HHDW, in the Office of Public Health Studies at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. We're going to use the next 30 minutes to talk about our website, Hawaii Health Matters, and how to create custom indicator dashboards using Hawaii Health Matters, or HHM. Hawaii Health Matters website was introduced to the public in 2009, and HHM was designed to provide a friendly way for users to access and interpret health data. The website is built on a platform that's maintained by Conduent Healthy Communities Institute, and they provide infrastructure and maintain some of the indicators. We maintain the bulk of the indicators on the site. HHM houses over 800 different health indicators from 50 different sources, and it includes a subset of data that is collected in Hawaii by the Department of Health and made available through the IBIS system in hhdw.org, but it also includes Hawaii data from a variety of other data sources. So the reach of HHM is broader than HHDW, and it includes measures of community health as well as population health. Because the data comes from different sources, it is updated asynchronously as the new data becomes available by source. So as a result, even within a single topic area, the underlying data may be from different years by the indicator, depending on the source of that indicator and when the question may have been last asked in that indicator. HHM was originally designed with state and county data in mind. So almost all of the indicators have data for both, but many also have additional data by other demographic variables like age and sex and race ethnicity. Moreover, HHM contains some sub-county level data, and I would say increasingly contains more sub-county level data, all the way down to the census tract for some indicators. And it's helpful to think of the indicators themselves as objects like books within a library or files within a cabinet. And so we'll be looking at the overview of some of the indicators, but you can open up each of those to get more information. Those indicators then can be viewed individually, or they can be viewed in a group in the form of a pre-made tracker, which is a selection of related data that we have created for you, or as a hand-picked tracker that you can create and share. Today, we're going to teach you how to make your own shareable dashboard. Before we get to the site, though, I want to quickly review some of the icons you will see. One of the foundations of HHM is to provide data in context. So not only how are we doing, but how do we compare with the nation? Or how does my county compare to the state? And how do we compare to how we've done in the past? To help make this clearer, HHM uses a series of icons as part of the display. As a rule of thumb, the directions of the arrow indicates if the measurement is increasing or decreasing, but the color tells us how to interpret it. So red is bad, green is good, and blue is neutral. For trend data, mostly solid icons indicate a statistically significant trends, but mostly white icons indicate that it is not statistically significant. When there is a state or national target available, the checks or the X's will demark whether or not that target has been met. If this data is available across multiple geographies, say state or counties, a gauge is used to show how your community compares to similar communities. So let's work through an example. Here you can see the diabetes-related death rate per 100,000 people and the percent of Medicare enrollees who have diabetes. In the first indicator, 62.2 deaths per 100,000 were diabetes related in 2020. This is significantly lower than the overall US rate of 93.6. It is statistically the same as the prior value of 56.4. This has been trending upwards over time, but not significantly so. And we did meet the Healthy People 2020 target for this indicator. In terms of the diabetes in the Medicare population, 27% of Hawaii enrollees had diabetes in 2019. We are in the second worst quarter compared to all the United States, all of the states in the US. We are higher than the US value of 25%. We're statistically the same as our previous value, and then it's been trending down over time, but not significantly. Let's start by going over to Hawaii Health Matters. I invite you to follow along if you have an extra screen. So to get to Hawaii Health Matters, you can either type hawaiihealthmatters.org into your browser, or you can always go to the hhdw.org homepage. and click on Go to Hawaii Health Matters. There's a lot to see and do here, but today we're really going to focus on creating and sharing custom dashboards. If you want to have a more complete overview of HHM, please click on this link here to watch a video that will give you a lot of information about the many features. To get to the dashboards, we're going to navigate to the Find Data drop-down menu, and we're going to click on Community Dashboard. This community dashboard is a great place to start to look at the data within Hawaii Health Matters. It has a bunch of different features. One that you'll notice here are these buttons, and these are links to created dashboards. And those are the collections of individual indicators that are grouped together around a specific subject matter. So you can see that we have dashboards for tracking some of our different state plans and for tracking areas of interest in the state. So here's one, Healthy People 2030 Progress Tracker. So I'll click on this one to show you a created dashboard. And here you can see that this data is grouped together by Healthy People 2030 topic area, and then it has targets for each of the indicators. As you're scrolling down here through the screen, you'll see a whole bunch of icons. If you're looking at the icons and saying, I'm not quite sure what that means, you can always click on the See Legend function here, and that allows you to, helps you remind you how to interpret what you're looking at. So scrolling down, these are the Healthy People 2030 indicators that we have with targets in the system so far. As you're scrolling down on a long page, if you need to quickly navigate back up to the top, you can go ahead and click on caret there. So this brings us back up to the top of the tracker, and I'm going to return over to the community dashboard page, but you're welcome to explore any of our pre-configured trackers in here to look at data. From this page, you can also do your own searching for individual indicators. One way to do that is to use this Find the Indicator screen. So if here, for example, the indicators are found by their titles. So if I go ahead and enter the word food, then all of our indicators that have the word food in here will appear below. I can click on any of these and it will bring me actually to the indicator itself. And when we talk about indicators, each indicator you're seeing a little brief overview of it. You can then see the full report regarding that indicator. So I'm back here at the Community Health Dashboard screen. I can also look for information by location. If I want to know more about which locations are available in HHM, I can go ahead and use a map feature here that allows us to look at the indicators that we have, and you can actually see the geographies for them. In this case, I'm going to say I'm here at Manoa, and I'm interested to see what kind of data is in the system regarding our zip code. So I can click here and it will show me all of the indicators that are related to 96822. And so that is one quick way to create a location-based custom dashboard. So if I go ahead and click through, you can see here, then I get all of the information that we have for this indicator. So that's another way a quick way to make your own dashboard just by geography. Coming back to Community Dashboard, I can also go ahead and search by keyword. So this would be not just words in the title, but words that are related in the keywords for each of the indicators. So here, if I enter food, like I did before, you can see I get many more indicators that are related to food. So another quick way to form a dashboard is I can hit Show on Dashboard, and then I can deselect the indicators that are not of interest to me. But what I really want to focus on today is going to be our advanced search capacity here. And so I'm going to click here. And there's more than one place to find it as you're navigating through the system. The system has a lot of redundancies that way. So there's a lot of right ways to get to where you want to go. But here I'm in our advanced search, build a custom dashboard. And there's two ways to build dashboards, primary ways in this system. One is by filtering. So we can go through and you can filter by location. You can filter by topic area. You might remember that all of the data in HHM is actually organized by topic area. So you can pick your topic area and find information that way. You can filter by populations that we have within the system. You can filter by classifications for data, by comparisons that are available. You can actually, if they have breakout data, you can filter and display subgroups, and we'll be demoing that. And you can also filter by the sources of data in the system. So if I was going to build a dashboard here, let's say I'm interested in safety. So I'll go ahead and start typing in safety, and I see I have prevention and safety and public safety. So I'm going to go ahead and do prevention and safety. And I'm going to hit search. And now what I will see is all of the indicators that we have related to prevention and safety. So it is a bigger category. The data will be organized first by state and then by county and then by subgroups underneath there. And I can scroll down again to look at what's available. That's one way to look at it. I can also look at it and say, well, maybe I just want to look at by location first. So what all do we have for the state of Hawaii and the counties and so forth? So I can group it by location. And now here I can see this is that same information, but now it's grouped together by location. So this is the state data here, and it's going to be grouped alphabetically. And as I scroll down, then I can go ahead and see, then I run into the Hawaii County data. So then the comparison where this is compared to the US, the Hawaii County compares to the Hawaii value, then the US value, etc. So that's another way to do it. I'm going to go back up to the top here. But I also might just say, do we have any sub-county level data for this? So I can click it by indicator, location, and summary, and I will get a list of all of the indicators in this health topic area and these are the geographies for which we have data. So here I can see I'm not going to have any zip code level data for these indicators. So let's say I want to go back now. Let's just look at this data for Maui County. I'm interested in Maui County, and I'm going to come back to the group by location, and I'm going to hit search. And now I have created this little dashboard with health prevention and safe indicators for the County of Maui. I can now do some work to change this around. So let's say I want to look at it. I'm looking at it currently in the list view. I can click here and now see the data in the card view, or I can go back to list. Also, because we're using red and green, we have a colorblind mode that we can turn on and off, because again, the up and the down is sometimes bad or sometimes good. The red is always bad in the system and green is always good. So we went ahead and included some helpful pointers for people who have issues with red-green vision. So that's available there. Once I get the indicators the way that I like it, the dashboard, I can save a link to this search. So I can save this and then I can post it on my dashboard or my website or keep just a copy for me. And then every time I click this, I will get the indicator, the same dashboard that I have created, and it will always access the most up-to-date data in the system. So it's not a picture of the page, it is actually pulls in all of those different indicators that are here. Because remember, each of these, if we click on them, there's a full report behind it, right? And those are continually being updated asynchronously. So this save a link to the search. I can also send it to a friend and have them look at it. That's the way to save and share your dashboards. So now I also, let's say I'm going to go ahead and clear all my search filters here. What if I look at this, and this is a very long list, it's more than I want, and I said, let me go ahead and handpick my own indicators. So here I can go through and select certain indicators. So if I'm interested in suicide, for example, I can go in and pick suicide-related indicators, and I might know, oh, I want to look at depression too. So I can go through and I can pick all of the indicators that we have in the system that are related to depression. I have them all here, and then I can go ahead and hit search. And I have it grouped by location still so that you'll see the Hawaii data first. And now I've created this dashboard of indicators regarding depression and suicide all in one place. And I could say, for example, well, maybe I don't want to include cigarette smoking in here, so I can delete that from the group. That's possible, and then I'll just rerun my filters. And let's say I want to just look at this only for the state of Hawaii. Then I can go ahead and do that and rerun my handpicked indicator dashboard. And you can go here and fine tune it until you get to the data that you want and that you want to save and share. I can, for something like this, say, well, do I really interested in the interaction between suicide, depression, and maybe sex? So I can filter and display subgroups. So here I can go through, and these are the different subgroups that are available. You'll be able to look at the data that is in each one. And so that's the one thing to know in the system, is that some data has more, some indicators have more subgroup data than others. And all of the data that we display abides by the reporting rules of that data system. But let's say I'm going to do by gender and sex, and I will run it again. And in this case, you're going to notice that only, because this is a filter and display by, only indicators where there is data by gender or sex will be appearing in this dashboard. So now I can look at suicidal thoughts, and I can among LGBT teens, and I can see females versus males versus the state overall, and again with those comparison data that we talked about. But you'll see that the number of indicators that are available now are smaller than my full list because not all of these have data as well by sex. Some of it's just state and county. So that can be a helpful thing. Another one that I just wanted to quickly show you on this one is what if I'm going to get rid of these filter and display, and I'm going to look at the data for Honolulu County, and I'm going to compare down here. So I'm going to group by, and I'm going to have sorting it by comparing, and I'm going to compare Honolulu County. And there's a bunch of different things that you can compare it to here, prior values. So if you want to see what's going up or going down or so forth. But in this case, I'm going to compare it to the state, and I'm going to hit search. And it will show me all of these indicators in the system by their comparison to Honolulu County. So we have LGBT teens with suicidal thoughts, and you can see that there's fewer in Honolulu County, to compare to the state. And then again, we'll look at all of these things, and they will order them based on how they compare, how closely they then compare to the state level value. And so you can have the worst that are farthest away first, and then the best at the bottom, which can help you quickly ascertain how we're doing compared to either the state or the county, or you can do prior value or so forth. There's a lot of different options in here for you to play with. So what I'd like to do now is to give you an opportunity to play with the system and create your own dashboards. So I'm going to ask you to create a custom dashboard for heart disease and stroke. That's going to be your topic area, looking at indicators for the state of Hawaii. And then I'd like you to sort that data by comparison to the prior value. So we'll see what's going up versus what's going down. Then I'd like you to create a dashboard with the indicators from the National Survey of Children's Health. So you're going to filter based on a data source, which is the National Survey of Children's Health. And then lastly, I'll have you create a dashboard with information about internet access and usage in Hawaii. So what data do we have about internet access and usage? So the first task was to create a custom dashboard for heart disease and stroke. So I'm going to come back over to the filter indicators, and I'm going to look at it, the information by topic. And clicking on heart disease and stroke. And then it says, I'm going to do it for the state of Hawaii. So I'll filter by location for the state of Hawaii. And then it says to sort the data by comparison to the prior value. So that's going to be in my additional search options. And I'm looking at ordering, and that's comparison. And now instead of the Hawaii state value, I'm going to scroll down and look at it by the prior value and hit search. And then here you can see, then this is the data for the state for heart disease and stroke. And the way that it's done is it's comparing to the prior value. So it's going to be first the things that are worse off than the prior value. So in this case, adults with controlled hypertension with controlled high blood pressure, it used to be 58.4%. It's down to 55.9%. So that's worse off. So you'll see the worse coming first, then those that are equal to the prior value. And then the next swings are those that are improving. So that comparison feature can really help you quickly discern what's improving or what's worsening amongst the population. The next one is to create a dashboard with indicators from the National Survey of Children's Health. So again, I can either unclick these guys, or I can tell it to clear all the search features, and I can filter by data sources. So I can just start typing in National Survey. You do National Survey of Children's Health and do a quick search. And so here, if you're wondering if we have data for the National Survey of Children's Health, this is all of the data that we have in the system for the National Survey of Children's Health. So this is Hawaii specific data from a national survey that's ongoing. So that can be helpful. You can see it's used to track a lot of Healthy People 2030 objectives. And then the last one is to create a dashboard with information about internet usage in Hawaii. I'm always surprised at the range of data that we have in the system, especially around community health issues. So if we look here at internet, let's look at adults who access medical services and information through the internet, adults with internet access, households with an internet subscription, persons with an internet subscription, and then also internet usage. So those are going to be my data sources here. And then the question is what geographies are available for this? So let's say I'm interested in trying to do an intervention and I want to put out something on the internet. How am I going to find an idea of who all it will reach down to what level? And I can see we have pretty detailed information in the system regarding all the way down to the census tract level for access to the internet and some internet usage down to state and county. But this would be a great way then, and I can go ahead and go back here and get more information about that. I could filter down to my geography of interest and so forth. And this was another good way. And then I can always save a link to that search so I don't have to do all this work again, and then to be able to find that information to see how we're doing. I just want to remind folks that we have these webinars. Generally, it's the first Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m. Next month, we're going to be talking about the Claritas consumer profile and spending data, which is a brand new source of data that we have in HHM that gives data all the way down to the zip code and census tract level. And then in March, we're going to be featuring the data from the 2021 vital statistics data. Thank you very much for attending.